Why does a man crave many? Why does he chase endlessly, seeking validation in the arms of different people? Is it truly desire? Or is it something deeper, something unspoken? Something rooted in insecurity? You might know a man like this. Maybe you've met him. Maybe you've loved him. Or maybe, just maybe, you've been him. A man who cannot sit still in one place. A man who cannot find satisfaction with just one. Society calls him a player, a womanizer, a free spirit. But beneath all that, beneath the bravado, the endless pursuits, the thrill of the chase, there's often something fragile, something uncertain, something afraid. The world sees confidence. The world sees charm. But what the world doesn't always see is the fear of being alone. The fear of being unwanted. The fear of never being enough. This is not about lust. Lust is simple. Lust is momentary. This is about the need to be validated over and over again. The need to prove something, perhaps to others, but mostly to oneself. If this resonates, if this makes you pause, then listen closely, because this is about more than just a man who cannot commit. This is about the battle within. The war that rages inside the soul of someone who believes that they must always chase more in order to be worth something. A man who craves many is often a man who does not truly see his own worth. He measures it through others, through how many people desire him, through how many say yes, through how many fall for his charm. But deep down, in the quiet of his own mind, does he ever feel complete? Does he ever feel whole? This cycle is exhausting. It is relentless. It is never-ending, because no matter how many say yes, it is never enough. The high is fleeting. The rush fades quickly, and so he must seek more, not realizing that he's only running in circles, chasing something that was never outside of him to begin with. But here's the truth. You don't need to seek validation in others. You don't need to prove yourself through endless conquests. You don't need to be wanted by many to be valuable. Your worth is not measured by how many desire you. It is measured by how deeply you know yourself, how much you respect yourself, how willing you are to stand still and face what's inside you instead of running from it. If you are a man who craves many, ask yourself, what are you truly searching for? What is it that you hope to find in the next person, in the next chase? And when you get it, does it ever truly satisfy you? Or does the hunger return? Stronger than before? The answer is not out there, is not in someone else's eyes, in someone else's arms. The answer is within you. But to find it, you must be willing to stop running. You must be willing to stand still, to sit with yourself, to face the fears that whisper in the back of your mind when the room is quiet and the distractions are gone. It takes courage, more courage than chasing, more courage than seduction. The greatest courage is not in pursuit, but in stillness, in looking inward instead of outward, in accepting that you are enough as you are, without needing external proof to validate it. And here's the most powerful truth: you are already enough. You always have been. But as long as you keep running, as long as you keep seeking, you will never feel it. Because true confidence, true security, does not come from being wanted by many. It comes from knowing deep in your bones that you do not need that validation to begin with. So, what will you choose? To keep running? To keep searching? To keep believing that your worth is something you must chase after? Or will you dare to stop? Will you dare to look within? Will you dare to believe that you are already enough? Exactly as you are. The choice is yours. It always has been. And the moment you realize that, you will finally be free. Let break down. Are you ever caught in the endless chase for more attention, more validation, more experiences, yet still feel a void that nothing seems to fill? You're not alone. Many people, especially men, find themselves craving more. Whether it's in relationships, achievements, or material possessions, But what if this craving isn't a sign of ambition or success, but rather a symptom of something deeper? The man who craves many women, many accomplishments, many possessions is often not driven by desire alone, but by insecurity. He believes that having more will finally bring him the sense of fulfillment and confidence he lacks. But no matter how much he gets, it never seems to be enough. He moves from one relationship to another, from one goal to the next, always searching, always hungry for something just beyond his reach. And if that sounds familiar, you must ask yourself, are you chasing what truly matters? Or are you just running from something you don't want to face? If you feel like you're always needing more, always proving something, it's time to look at what's underneath. Because true fulfillment, real confidence, doesn't come from having more. It comes from within. But before we talk about how to shift that craving into something meaningful, let's break down why this happens in the first place. Many men grow up believing their worth is tied to external validation. They are taught, directly or indirectly, that success means being admired, that love means being desired, and that status means being envied. It starts small: a boy wanting to impress his father, a teenager wanting to be noticed, a young man wanting to prove himself. Over time, this desire for approval turns into a constant hunger. For some, it manifests in relationships. They pursue multiple partners, never fully committing, always needing that rush of new affection. It's not just about attraction, it's about feeling wanted. The moment the excitement fades, they move on, searching for that high again. For others, it appears in career and achievements. No matter how much success they attain, they feel it's not enough. They climb higher, work harder, push further. But deep down, they fear that slowing down means losing value. And then there are those who seek it through material things: the cars, the watches, the homes, the symbols of status that say, "Look at me, I matter." But the truth is, none of these things can fill the emptiness inside, because the real problem isn't about having more. It's about believing that without these things, you are not enough. What happens when this cycle continues unchecked? Relationships suffer. Genuine connection is replaced with surface-level interactions. No one truly knows you because you never stay long enough to let them. Career burnout becomes a reality. The constant need for more leaves you exhausted, unable to enjoy what you've already built. And worst of all, self-worth remains fragile, always dependent on external factors, never truly secure. If you've ever felt this way, if you recognize yourself in these patterns, know this: you are not alone. And more importantly, you have the power to break free from this cycle. The first step is shifting your mindset. You must stop seeing yourself through the lens of external validation and start defining your worth internally. Ask yourself, who am I without the attention, without the achievements, without the status symbols? If that question makes you uncomfortable, lean into it, because the answer is where true confidence begins. Next, you need to reframe your idea of success. Instead of chasing things that only give temporary satisfaction, focus on building something lasting: deep relationships, meaningful work, personal growth. This requires you to slow down, to choose quality over quantity, instead of pursuing multiple partners to feel desired. Invest in one who truly sees and values you, instead of working yourself to exhaustion for the sake of recognition. Work toward fulfillment and purpose. One of the biggest challenges in this process is the fear of losing what you believe defines you. You might worry that if you stop chasing, you'll be left with nothing. But here's the truth: the things you are afraid to let go of are the very things keeping you trapped. There will be moments of doubt. You might question whether this shift is worth it. You might feel the pull to return to old habits. That's normal. Growth isn't instant. And real transformation takes time. But every time you choose depth over superficiality, every time you choose fulfillment over fleeting satisfaction, you take another step toward true confidence. There are men who have made this change, men who once chased endlessly, only to realize that the real prize wasn't in what they could gain, but in what they could build. They are the ones who now experience relationships built on trust, careers built on passion, and a sense of self that doesn't waver with external circumstances. And that can be you. But you must take the first step. You must be willing to look at your patterns, to question them, to challenge them. You must be willing to let go of the need for more and start finding contentment in what truly matters. The journey won't be easy. It will require effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to break old habits. But if you stay committed, if you choose to redefine success on your own terms, you will experience something far greater than the temporary rush of validation. You will find peace. You will find purpose. You will find yourself. So ask yourself today, what am I truly chasing? And is it time to finally stop running and start living?